we're officially winding down the tennis season. And to recap our ATP Finals, so happy to welcome on a big friend of the show, Steve Weissman, host of Tennis Channel, and always makes time for us. Steve, great to see you again.
Great to see you as well, Ben. Always happy to be here, and a lot has gone on in the fall season post U.S. Open, so a lot to discuss.
Yeah, a lot to discuss, and I mean, no surprise maybe that it's the usual suspects here in the finals in Turin to wind down the season. Fitting end to the season that we see the two best players in the world duke it out for one last final, and Jannik Sinner defeating Carlos Alcaraz to win the end-of-year title and defend that title. And I mean, there's not much separating these two whatsoever. At least my takeaway, Jannik Sinner remains kind of the king of the indoor courts.
Yeah, he certainly does. I mean, he's won 31 in a row on indoor courts, so that speaks for itself. He hasn't dropped a set at the ATP Finals in the past 2 years. That speaks for itself. So, yeah, he's absolutely dominated. I think the last loss was in 2023 to Djokovic in the final. So since then, he's been the best. And I do think in the final, Alcaraz was a little compromised when he hurt himself, at the end of that first set. So that wasn't great. But still, I mean, Sinner was dominant from start to finish. Proved why he's right there. I think this one probably meant more to him because of all the losses he's had to Alcaraz over the past few years. And having the losing record coming in this year as well against Alcaraz. So he had made some tweaks since the U.S. Open when Alcaraz beat him, and those worked out. I mean, his serve, while he maintained his speed, was able to become more accurate, was able to get a few more points, be brave on those second serves, go in the 115 to 118 mile per hour range on second serves in big moments, which I thought was the difference in the match, and, come out on top. But once again, these two are the best of the best. The gap between them and everyone else is massive right now. I think the stat, it's one of the craziest stats I've ever come across in my life, that the number 1,000 player in the world is actually closer to number 3 than number 3 is to Jannik Sinner at number 2. I mean, that's just mind blow. That's how good they are. Yeah. That's the new 2. Alcaraz is 1, Sinner's 2. Their records speak for themselves. I mean, the fact that Sinner missed 3 months this year and still finished with almost 60 wins, just 6 losses, but he also had 6 titles. 6 losses, 6 titles. Alcaraz has 71 wins, 9 losses, 8 titles. So to have as many or nearly as many titles as you had losses in a season is just sensational. There's really nothing else to say about it.
It's pretty jaw-dropping when you break down some of these numbers, and on this show, I think we've been calling the gap between 1 and 2 and the rest. We've been calling it a chasm, and that's the reality right now. The level these two are playing, the rest of the field has a lot of work to do to catch up. In terms of catching up in this rivalry, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Alcaraz had the edge recently, and had won 10 of 15. Was pretty dominant in their U.S. Open final against Sinner, where I thought he played a flawless match. And at that time, Jannik went back to the drawing board and said, I became a bit too predictable. I have to change a few things up. Did you notice any changes? Or at least for me, it felt like in some of these big moments, you kind of alluded to it, going a little bigger with the serve, which seemed to bail him out of a couple spots. I mean, he saved set point in that first set, and maybe being a little bit more aggressive on return.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think the serve was the key. That's what he worked on. And one thing that separates these two as well from everyone else is that they may be number 1 in the world, number 2 in the world, win all the majors, and they're still getting better. And they're still pushing each other to get better. Sinner and his team were like, we have to do something to change this against Alcaraz. I mean, he's won 4 of the 5 matches against us this year, including 2 huge finals. Well, they're all finals, actually. The last 7 matches, huge finals, but in the majors at least. And so he worked on the serve and changed some things. And you said it. I mean, to be more aggressive on that second serve saved him that set point. And that's not easy to do because he also had a couple double faults. And he stayed with it. He trusted that plan and it worked for him in the biggest moments. Another one of these wild stats is that Jannik Sinner leads the ATP, the first player in history to lead the ATP in service games won and return games won, percentage-wise, in a single season. Nobody's ever done that. So where are the holes? You know, where do you attack somebody that is the best returner in the game and the best server of the game? I don't know. I don't have that answer, but Alcaraz is the answer because generally he's able to win that. He's very high as well. You know, but yeah, I mean, you go backhand to backhand. I think that's a place where Sinner has the advantage. Alcaraz is a great backhand. I just think Sinner's is a little bit better.
Yeah.
And right now it's those small percentages. So Sinner from the US Open, I think he won maybe 1% more first serves, maybe 2% more in the second serve. Those may seem like small percentages, but at the height of the game, the elite of the elite, 0.01 is a massive difference. That's all you're looking to get, is that 1% a little bit better. And Sinner was able to do that, you know, in the last half of the year. So now what does Alcaraz do? Goes into the offseason. I'm sure he'll work on it and figure out a way to be a percentage better himself for the next time they play. It's a great matchup. I love the fact that they're friends and rivals. And I think Sinner said after the match, if anyone else is going to be, you know, number one in the world, I would want it to be you. I thought that was really sweet of him. And you can see that love between the two guys.
Very, very classy. If anybody thought for a second this rivalry was slightly one-sided, this was the coolest stat I've seen over the past few days. I'm sure you saw it too. From the matches they've played, they have each won 1,561 points exactly. I mean, that's staggering.
It's also crazy because Alcaraz has won so many more.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Pretty unbelievable. And that kind of highlights to how it is kind of, you know, maybe less than 1% that's deciding some of these matches.
Yeah.
For Carlos Alcaraz, you know, it's hard to really nitpick much here out of this final. And he thought he played pretty well. I mean, I thought he probably played a good enough level to certainly beat anybody else there, beat just about anybody else on tour. And he finishes year-end #1, but Sinner denies him at the ATP Finals. You know, I guess he had one little slip up losing to Cam Norrie as well at the Masters 1000 there. Going into the offseason, prospects for Carlos, I look ahead to the first slam of 2026, and I really see a big opportunity because that was kind of the big letdown of the 2025 campaign for Carlos, which was otherwise absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and I mean, can you say making the quarterfinals a letdown? You know, like I don't know. I think that's still pretty great. Yes, he made the finals of the other three and won 2 of those. So we're setting the bar so high, and we did that for Novak and Roger and Rafa. I get it, but this guy's still 22. He's actually 2 years younger than Sinner and has 2 more majors than him already. I mean, the consistency and performances that he's put out already are legendary and record breaking, everything he's done. So sure, I mean, every major is an opportunity. The guy missed 1 final since Miami. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And won most of those. So you know, he hasn't won the Australian Open yet, so big opportunity to add another major and you know, try to complete the career Grand Slam. I think he'd probably be the youngest to do that. So that's, you know, another thing he's going for. But I don't think there's a ton. Yes, there's always something to work on, but he's there. You know, you just like get better in every facet. I think he serves really well. Can he serve better? Sure. Can he, you know, I think against Sinner, he was coming forward on some shots that I wouldn't have recommended. But I also think that was because he was hampered physically and he knew that he couldn't get into 15, 20 ball rallies every single point. So he's great at the net. I just think he pushed that a little bit against anybody else. Maybe it works, but against a guy who is that good at the baseline from Sinner, it obviously didn't.
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
Thank you guys so much for watching us at Matchpoint Canada. If you like our work, follow along, hit the subscribe button below.